Liverpool edged closer to new signing as €35 million teenager ready to jump at the chance to join Arne Slot's side from Parma. Liverpool are closing in on Parma's teenage centre-back Giovanni Leoni, with the 18-year-old pushing for an immediate move to Arne Slot's squad. What happened? Liverpool are closing in on a deal for Parma's young centre-back Leoni, with Fabrizio Romano reporting that the player has already said yes to joining the Premier League champions. The Reds want him to join immediately, ruling out any loan-backed arrangement to Italy. Talks between the clubs are ongoing, with Parma valuing the teenager at around €30 million, £26 million, $32 million plus bonuses. According to Gianluca Di Marzio, the bigger picture, Leoni's arrival would be a timely boost for Slot, who is short on central defensive options following Jarell Kwanzaa's summer move to Bayer Leverkusen and Joe Gomez's Achilles injury. Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate were the only fit senior centre-backs for Liverpool's Community Shield defeat to Crystal Palace. At 6'5" inches and already showing maturity in Serie A, Leoni could be both an immediate squad option and a long-term project. Tell me more. The 18-year-old broke into Parma's first team last season, making 17 Serie A appearances in the second half of the campaign. Known for his dominance in the air, recovery speed, and positional intelligence, he has also been linked with Inter, Tottenham, and Newcastle. However, Liverpool's financial power gives them an edge, with a decisive push for the deal expected soon. What next for Liverpool? Negotiations with Parma are set to continue, with optimism that an agreement can be reached before the transfer window closes on September 1. The Reds could still look to sign Marc Guéhi alongside Leoni to further strengthen their defense. Fabrizio Romano reveals Liverpool plan for Giovanni Leoni if he signs. Liverpool have no plans to loan out Giovanni Leoni for the 2025-26 season if he signs. GiveMeSport senior reporter Fabrizio Romano has revealed the reigning Premier League champions are in talks to bring in the promising Parma defender ahead of the transfer deadline and are said to be preparing him a spot in Arne Slot's first-team squad. Club-to-club negotiations are believed to be ongoing regarding the 18-year-old's arrival at Anfield, with Liverpool aiming to bring Leoni in alongside Crystal Palace captain Marc Guéhi. The Reds are eyeing two late additions to complement Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate in central defense. With both deals now expected to happen in the coming days, Liverpool want to keep Leoni for 2025-26. Romano, speaking on his YouTube channel, revealed that Liverpool have no intention of loaning out Leoni for 2025-26, despite reports elsewhere claiming otherwise. Tonight we had some reports saying that Leoni, maybe the deal is going to be done now for 2026. Liverpool are negotiating to sign Leoni now for Arne Slot, not for 2026. I know many media on X and in other places are saying that maybe Leoni is for next year, like Mamardashvili, but this is completely invented. Liverpool have never discussed that. From what I understand, then if this is going to be part of the conversation in the final stages, I will let you know. Leoni is regarded as one of the brightest young central defenders in Europe, with some even labeling the 18-year-old the new Fabio. He enjoyed a breakthrough campaign with Parma in 2024-25, making 17 appearances in Serie A and scoring his debut senior goal in a 2-1 loss to Parma are now eyeing a huge profit after welcoming Leoni for a modest fee from Sampdoria last term. He could become one of the Italian club's most expensive departures. Alongside the likes of Hernan Crespo, Gianluigi Buffon, and Lilian, Liverpool have splashed out over £250 million on new signings this summer, including a club record £116 million on former Bayer Leverkusen ace Florian Wirtz. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Rodrigo sends emphatic message over Real Madrid transfer saga after preseason victory. The Brazilian winger found the back of the net in Los Blancos' 4-0 victory over WSG. Rodrigo has appeared to pledge his commitment to Real Madrid in the face of interest from Manchester City, with a report revealing Pep Guardiola's personal plea to the Brazil international, with City agreeing to loan out Jack Grealish and progressing in talks to sell both Savinho and James McAtee to Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest respectively. The Manchester outfit are understood to be considering a move for Rodrigo, who is described as a dream target for. The links came 1 week after it was claimed that Rodrigo had already decided to stay and fight for his future in Madrid, aware he faces a battle to prove himself to new manager Xabi Alonso. After a summer which brought limited minutes at the Club World Cup, Rodrigo once again found himself on the bench in Real Madrid's preseason friendly against WSG, but he made a splash in just 29 minutes on the pitch, scoring his first goal in 16 matches. The 24-year-old took to social media following the club's 4-0 victory, writing, "Q in peace 25/26, which translates to, "Let it begin 25/26. The message aligns with Rodrigo's earlier posts on social media ahead of the match. He shared an image advertising the game, but his choice of the message, Hala Madrid, accompanied by a white heart, could be interpreted as an indication of his loyalties. Reflecting on Rodrigo's uncertain future in Madrid, Marcao revealed a phone conversation between the Brazil winger and City manager Guardiola back in 2024 after the two sides met in the Champions League knockout stage. Guardiola is said to have spoken at length to Rodrigo and his entourage about a possible move to City. At the time, the 24-year-old was not interested. His love for Madrid is no secret, but a significant drop in minutes could force him into a rethink. Fabrizio Romano adds that Guardiola is now pushing for City to make a move for Rodrigo, who will be allowed to leave Madrid if he requests an exit and a significant bid arrives. A price tag of €100 million, £86.5 million, $116.2 million has been set by Madrid. Los Blancos are happy to hold on to Rodrigo, who has not yet communicated a strong interest in leaving. Rodrigo has made his opinion of Man City clear as the former champions enter the race for the Brazilian. Rodrigo, 24, has been linked with a move away from Real Madrid to Manchester City. But what does he think of the Premier League club? This summer, the Brazilian has been linked with several English clubs, including Arsenal and champions Liverpool. However, on Monday, August 11th, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City entered the race to sign the Real Madrid player, with the imminent departures of James McAtee and Jack Grealish, while Tottenham have inquired about a possible deal for City winger Savinho, according to The Athletic. As a result, this could open up space in the City squad for the possible arrival of the 24-year-old, who is not in the team's plans at the Santiago Bernabeu. On Monday afternoon, journalist Fabrizio Romano gave an update on the situation at the X network. Manchester City are considering a move for Rodrigo after imminent departures. Grealish is out, McAtee and Savinho could leave, and MCFC see Rodrigo as a dream target. Guardiola is a big fan. Real Madrid will let him leave if the player wants. They are asking around €100 million. What has Rodrigo said about the City before? Firstly, it's clear that he enjoys playing against Guardiola's side, scoring 4 goals and providing 2 assists in just 9 games against the English club. He has even stated that his last gasp brace against City in the 2022 Champions League semi-final changed a lot of things in his life. Speaking in 2024, Rodrigo said, "My status in football changed a lot after those 2 goals. People started looking at me differently. The 2 goals were a step forward in my career." Rodrigo referred again to that 2022 triumph during a press conference ahead of the Champions League playoff match between Madrid and City in February this year. On that occasion, the Brazilian explained, "It's the most special night of my career, and I hope it happens again." Speaking to the media, he also described Guardiola as a great coach, claiming that it is very difficult to play against his teams. Rodrigo admitted, "I don't really like playing against Manchester City. Nobody likes playing against City as much as they do against us. I've been happy after many games against them." Guardiola, too, is undoubtedly an admirer of Rodrigo. Ahead of the European playoffs earlier this year, he explained that it was impossible to control these 4 players, likely referring to Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., and Kylian Mbappe. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Liverpool told Crystal Palace desperate to sell Marc Guéhi as £35 million move edges closer. Liverpool have opened talks with Crystal Palace over a move for England star Marc Guéhi, with their Premier League rivals reportedly eager to make a profit on the player this summer. Liverpool have been informed that Crystal Palace are keen to offload Marc Guéhi while they can still turn a profit on the defender. Guéhi has entered the final year of his contract at Selhurst Park, and discussions between the clubs have now commenced regarding a potential £35 million transfer. The Reds have also been told that the Palace star surpasses Ibrahima Konate in ability. Palace supporter and broadcaster Rebecca Lowe has suggested the South London outfit are desperate to avoid losing Guéhi for nothing next summer, with the Premier League champions braced for a hectic conclusion to the transfer window. Speaking on It's Called Soccer, alongside former Arsenal star Theo Walcott, Lowe reckons her cherished club have been touting the centre-half, whom they acquired from Chelsea for £18 million in 2021. 2 competitors as they seek to secure a considerable sum for the England international while they can. Questions over Guéhi establishing himself in Liverpool's first team have been an ongoing concern. However, Walcott believes the 25-year-old can oust Konehi, 26, from his berth in Arne Slot's first. As he believes the Englishman has the advantage over the French star due to starting regularly for the Three Lions. I do think Guéhi is better, Walcott began. Because when you look at England particularly, and you talk about the center halves, we're talking about the two best center halves in the country when you're starting for England. And he's starting for England. Walcott's logic perhaps doesn't add up entirely when comparing the players against an international metric. Guéhi has played 23 times for England, matching the number of appearances Koné has for Les Blues, while the latter has also captained his country on one occasion in November 2024. However, Walcott remains adamant the transfer will be worthwhile for the Reds, as Guéhi would make an immediate difference. For Guéhi, he would fit into that Liverpool team, and they have the ball all the time, so he's not going to be challenged as much. Walcott added, he'll get fitter, he'll learn so much. To play at Liverpool and be next to Virgil van Dijk, these opportunities might not come again. Liverpool are keen to strengthen their centre-back ranks, having allowed Jarell Quansah to join Bayer Leverkusen earlier in the summer. Van Dijk, Konate, and Joe Gomez represent their only three senior central defensive choices currently, with Konate entering the final 12 months of his deal and Gomez presently sidelined through injury. Palace chairman Steve Parish admitted losing GH for free would be a problem, and his departure this window now seems likely. Liverpool have now made their approach with talks ongoing over a deal for Guéhi for a fee understood to be £30 million up front, with £5 million in add-ons. Personal terms have not yet been agreed with Guéhi. However, he's reportedly eager to make the switch. The Reds' interest in GAG is thought to be separate from their chase for Parma's centre-back Giovanni Leoni, as they also prepare to intensify their pursuit of the 18-year-old. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Alexander Isak decides he will never play for Newcastle again. Alexander Isak has no intention of playing for Newcastle again, with the striker reported to have informed Eddie Howe of his desire to leave last season. Isak remains out of contention for Newcastle heading into the new campaign and will not play a part in Saturday's Premier League opener against Aston Villa. The Athletic's David Ornstein reports that the Swedish striker is adamant he will never represent the club again after communicating his plan to leave months ago. Ornstein writes that Isak has no desire to reintegrate into the squad, which contrasts with a later hopeful update from colleague Chris Wall, who writes that Howe will be hoping to coax him back around. For the player himself, the matter is set, and it is maintained that Isak informed Howe of his intention to leave before last season ended. This came following then-director of football, Paul Mitchell, telling the 25-year-old's representatives last summer that he would not yet be offered a new contract. It was then decided that the 2024-25 campaign would be his last at St. James Park, and it has been suggested since that a feeling of promises not being kept has motivated Isak to force a transfer. Liverpool are, of course, waiting in the wings following their unsuccessful first bid for Newcastle's No 14, which was worth around £110 million. Newcastle value Isak at £150 million, and it is widely reported that they would need to sign two strikers to replace their leading centre forward as well as Callum Wilson before allowing him to leave for a fee in that region. The transfer window closes on September 1st, and the expectation remains that Isak will be a Liverpool player before the 7 p.m. deadline. Why Newcastle may hold off on business with Liverpool. Another wrinkle in the story comes with Liverpool heading to Tyneside for their second game of the new Premier League season on August 25th. It stands to reason that Newcastle may look to delay any deal for Isak until after that date so as not to strengthen the champions' chances of taking 3 points from St. James Park. There would still be a week to go until the window closes after that game, by which point Newcastle would clearly hope to have signed their new main striker. Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson, Porto's Samu Agahawa, Wolves' Jurgen Strand Larson, Aston Villa's Ali Watkins, and PSG's Goncalo Ramos have all been mentioned as targets, while Brentford's Yoan Wissa is considered their likely Wilson replacement. Newcastle striker Isak determined to join Liverpool. Alexander Isak is determined to leave Newcastle United and join Liverpool this summer. BBC Sport has been told by several sources that it is the Sweden striker's ambition to join the Premier League champions before the deadline closes on the 1st of September. On the 1st of August, Newcastle rejected Liverpool's £110 million bid for Isak, prompting the Reds to consider walking away. BBC Sport has been told by several sources that it is the Sweden striker's ambition to join the Premier League champions before the deadline closes on the 1st of September. The Magpies rejected a £110 million bid from Liverpool for Isak on the 1st of August, with the Reds subsequently claiming that they were prepared to walk away from a deal. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe said following a pre-season friendly defeat by Atletico Madrid that everything is in play when it comes to Isak's future, but stressed it was clear he cannot involve the striker in his current plans. As such, Isak is expected to miss Newcastle's Premier League opener at Aston Villa on Saturday 12:30 p.m. BS. The former Dortmund forward missed Newcastle's pre-season tour of the Forest with a minor thigh injury. He then trained alone at former club Real Sociedad before returning to the UK last week. Isak, who scored 27 goals in 42 appearances across all competitions last season, has 3 years to run on his deal in the Northeast. Newcastle have failed with several moves for strikers this summer, with Liam Delap opting to join Chelsea, Benjamin Sesko choosing Manchester United, and Hugo Ekitike moving to Liverpool. Interest remains in Brentford striker João Wissa, who left the Bees' preseason camp in Portugal in July because of his desire to join Newcastle. The 28-year-old returned to first-team training last week following constructive talks with head coach Keith Andrews, but the DR Congo striker remains keen on moving to Newcastle. Should a fee be agreed? Howe's side are closing in on the signing of AC Milan defender Malik Theo. The center-back is due to fly to Tyneside on Sunday night to finalize his £34.62 million move to St. James Park. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.